Alright guys, this is the video I promised you I would do to go over some of the problems from the assignment you're going to have today on 3.3 piecewise of linear functions. So the first problem is just like a problem we did on Friday. So you have f of x equals x plus 5 where x is less than negative 2 and negative 2x minus 1 where x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So what we're going to do here is the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph my restraints. In this particular restraint, my restraint is negative 2 for both equations. So I'm going to go to negative 2, the x, and I'm just drawing a line so that way it helps me. So I would just draw a light line over the restraint so it helps guide you where you're going to actually graph it. And it says my first equation is x plus 5. So that means I'm going to start at my 5 because remember you have y equals mx plus b, where b is your y-intercept, your starting point of the y-axis, and b is your slope. So I'm going to start at 5. So again, I would lightly be graphing this right now because you're going to have to erase some of it. Start at 5. My slope is rise over run is 1 over 1. So I'm going to go up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. But it says, when you look back, it says it's less than negative 2. So we're actually needing to go this way. So we need to go down 1 to the left 1, down 1 to the left 1. Now we're at our restraint. It's not an or equal to, so that means it's an open circle. And then you're just going to continue your graph, your line. And then you are only actually connecting the dots for the part that is less than negative 2. So it's going to look like this. And you'll go back and you'll erase. Some of you I worked one-on-one with. I showed you just to not even mark the part until you got to the restraint. But just if you do, make sure it's pencil and it's light so you can erase it easily. So the next one says negative 2x minus 1. X is greater than or equal to negative 2. So I'm going to start at negative 1. This time it says it's greater than, so that means I'm telling me I'm going to the right of the restraint. And then it's also telling me that it's or equal to. So when I get to the restraint line, I'm going to have a filled in circle. So I'm going to start at negative 1, go up 2 and to the left 1, up 2 and to the left 1. I'm at that line, so it's going to be a filled in circle. I'm going to go back to my starting point because I need to continue the line. Down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. It's not a very straight line, but you get the point. Now, I want to make sure you realize that the first equation, the first function, is the blue, and that was an open circle because there was not an or equal to. And the second one is the black line, and that's a closed circle because there was an or equal to. So this says, is it a function, yes or no? So in order to determine that, we're going to go to f of 3. So we're going to go to where x, let me get a highlighter here, where x equals 3. 1, 2, 3. And what is my y? My y is right here. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 6. When f is negative 4, so f of negative 4, so x in 1, 2, 3. What is my y? My y is 1, and when f is negative 2, my y is 2. So I have negative 4 is 1, and then negative 2. I'm sorry, negative 2 is right here, which is 3. So it says, is it a function? It is a function because if we do the vertical line test, it doesn't hit the same point. Only because, I need you to really, really pay attention to this. Only because one of them is a less than, the other one is a or equal to. So if they both were closed out, they both would have it or equal to. It would not be a function, but this particular one is a function. Okay, so the next problem is you have to actually write the equations for it. So what you're going to do, I'm going to go back to my pen, is you're going to always start out with something like this, f of x equals, and then I am looking, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just write the equations. So I'm looking here at this first one, and I'm going to highlight it. And I'm looking at that, and I'm going to say, okay, if that were to continue, so what is my slope here? Down 1 over 1 to the left 1, so that's positive 1, so I'm going to have x. So if I were to continue that through the y-axis, it would go across the 2, so it's x plus 2. You can go ahead and erase that part of it. You're just going to continue it on. My restraint, though, is it's at negative 1, so I have my x, and I'm going to put negative 1. And it's less than, because it's going to the left. So it's going to be less than, x is less than negative 1. There's a closed dot. You put your or equal to. Now I'm going to look at, so I'm going to put a purple there. Now I'm going to look at this one. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and write, I'm going to have an x. There's a ending and a starting point, so you know you're going to have an x in the middle with 2 things on this side. So looking at the graph, I'm starting at 1, 2, 3, so it's going to be plus 3, and the slope is up 1 over 1, so it's just x. Now I have to look at my restraint. So it starts at negative 1, and it goes to the right of negative 1, so it's going to be negative 1, actually negative 1 is less than x. It is an open circle, so that means it's, do not put the or equal sign, and it goes to positive 1. So you have negative 1 is less than x, which is less than 1. Then the next one we have is, let me go put that. I'm starting, if I have my slope is up 1 over 1, so my slope is x. And then if I continued that over, it would go through my 1 on my y-axis, so it's plus 1. It just has one restraint, so it's just going to be x. And then it's 1, so it goes, it's greater than or equal to 1, because it's a closed circle. So I did one more, was going to do one more problem here. You can just let the video play if you think you got it and not worry about it, or you can watch this and get another problem for you. So again, we're going to start with, right here, I have f of x equals, and I have 3 different things because it changes 3 different times. If you were to look at change, it goes 1, 2, 3 different times. So the first one, we're going to look at the turquoise, and it's going to go, we need to look at where it would cross. So I first need to look at my slope. So my slope here was 1, 2, 3 over 1. So it's 3 over 1. So it's going to be 3x. So if I went up 3, it's going to be off the graph, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3. And to the right, 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, if you were to go up 3 over 1, that would be negative 1, 7. Then up 3 to the right, what again would be 0, 10. So your y-intercept is 10. So you'd have plus 10. As you can see, you only have one restraint, and that restraint is right here where it changes directions. And so that's at negative 1. So your x is less than negative 1. And you could put an or equal to here, and then that just means the next one you're not going to have an or equal to. So that's fine. I would always just do an or equal to there. And we're going to look at the purple highlighter. And it is a horizontal line, so we just know that your function is going to be f of x and whatever that, where it crosses the y. So it crosses at 4, so you're just going to have a 4 here. Then you have two restraints because it changes places twice. So you have the, oh, and I said -1. That is wrong. My apologies. It's actually -2. I hope you caught that. My -2, and then I have a +2 right there. So that tells me since there's 2, I'm going to have x in the middle. I have -2 and I have +2. Since it changes directions, both of these, I personally would do the first one would be, it was or equal to the above, so it's just going to be is less than. And then the second one is going to be or equal to. As long as it's not, they're not both or equal to on top of each other, then you're fine. And the next one I'm going to look at, and again, I have the same slope, but it's -3x, which means that it would continue on and be the same y-intercept. This is an or equal to, so I'm going to have x is greater than 2. And there are your equations, your 2 examples for that. And in the last example, you have your 3 different functions, piecewise functions. So you're going to look here, and it says f of 2. This is just like the classwork. We're looking to see where 2 will fit into all of these. If it fits into more than one, then you would put it in. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it says f of 2. So that means I'm just looking at this, the f of x. This is f of 2. Which one? Is x less than or equal to 0, or is x greater than 0? Well, x, 2 is greater than 0. So you would look at this one to be f of 2 equals 2. That's all you need to put for that. Then on the 15 it says f of -4. So is it says if x is less than or equal to 0. So -4 is less than or equal to 0. So I would have f of -4 is equal to 3. So really what that's saying is your answer is still going to be 3. So here your answer is still 2. Now if I go, this will be the same all the way across. And I'm going to be honest, you can actually just skip 14 through 17. That will be completely fine. That's your reward for watching the video. And on 18 it says g of 7. So I'm going to look here and I'm going to see where 7 will fit in my restraints. Is 7 less than or equal to 3? No. Is 7 greater than 3? Yes. So I'm going to plug into this right here. So I'm going to have 2 times 7 minus 1, which is 14 minus 1. So my answer for 18 is 13. This is just like the first 4 or 5 problems of your class. Hope this helps. Feel free to send me a message on Google Classroom if you have questions. This will be due Wednesday.